We have a careful hypothesis, and a long, messy history behind it today. The machinery, if a religion really is a kind of collective model that a community keeps around itself, then I want to know what it is actually made of, and what, exactly, ritual is doing inside it. Rowan, start us off.
Start with the model itself. A religion proposes what kind of world this is, which unseen causes matter, what death means, and what comes after it, what counts as disorder, and what counts as repair, who can be trusted, and who cannot. That is a generative model, but a socially distributed one, carried by an entire community rather than sitting in one head.
And I want to be careful here, because this is where people overreach. It is not some sealed-off religious compartment of the mind. Pascal Boyer argues that religious beliefs run on perfectly ordinary cognition, the same memory, the same agency detection, the same social reasoning we use for everything else. They are a special class of reflective belief, not a separate mental organ. Durkheim pushed even further, and it is worth sitting with. He argued the sacred object is, at bottom, a representation of collective life itself. When a community gathers and reveres something as holy, part of what it is revering, without quite saying so, is its own togetherness.
We usually call ritual expression an outpouring of belief that is already there. You both say it is doing something more than that.
Much more, and the difference matters. In our framework, ritual regulates precision. It tunes what a community attends to, what it treats as trustworthy, what it can safely set aside. It is less like a speech, which announces a belief, and more like calibration, adjusting the instrument so the readings come out steady. And the empirical work genuinely backs this up. Research on the psychology of ritual finds that ritual buffers anxiety and uncertainty, restores a felt sense of order and control, and raises people's perception of unity and cooperation in the group, not because of what the ritual says, because of what it does to the people performing it.
Durkheim had a phrase for the most intense version of this: collective effervescence. People gather, they move and chant and breathe together, and something shifts in the room. Solidarity is not described. It is regenerated on the spot. Ritual synchronizes attention, feeling, and action all at once. That is not decoration around the belief. That is infrastructure underneath it.
And not all ritual works the same way.
No, and the contrast is sharp and useful. Harvey Whitehouse draws two modes of religiosity: frequent, calm, repeated ritual. The weekly service, the daily prayer, builds semantic memory. It supports doctrine, orthodoxy, stable leadership, and very large, anonymous communities. Millions of strangers who have never met can still credibly call themselves one faith, because they all repeat the same things. Rare, high-arousal ritual does almost the opposite: the terrifying initiation, the once-in-a-lifetime ordeal. It builds searing, personal, episodic memory, and it fuses small groups intensely, for life. So one mode scales a tradition wide across strangers. The other welds a handful of people deep. Most living religions run both at once.
What about sacred law, taboo, myth?
Sacred law and taboo are action policies. They shrink the space of possible behavior. Here is what must be done. Here is what must never be done. Here is who counts as one of us. A community facing real uncertainty cannot evaluate every option from scratch every time. Law pre-decides so that action stays possible at all. It is not only social control, though it is never not social control.
And myth is compression. A myth packs origins, dangers, ideal lives, enemies, and moral cause and effect into a single, vivid story. And a story is built to survive being retold across many generations by people who cannot read. So myths are not failed science. That is a condescending reading, and it completely misses the point. A myth deliberately trades literal, perishable detail for transmissible structure. It is a durable, portable map of how to live, and durability is exactly the feature you want.
So religion mostly conserves. It holds the model still.
Priesthood and scripture do exactly that. They preserve the canonical priors, the authorized readings, the procedures you can repeat without thinking. That is the stabilizing half, and a community needs it. But prophecy does the opposite, and a living tradition needs that too. Prophecy contests the model. It speaks up precisely when a community can no longer absorb its own moral errors. When something has gone badly wrong that the official, comfortable stories simply will not name out loud.
So a religion carries both at once, and this is the part people miss. Error correction and error protection in the same institution. It is not only conservative, it is also periodically reformative. It can turn on itself, name its own failure, and revise. Few human systems do both, and I want to be honest about my own confidence here. This episode, ritual as precision regulation, as memory, as synchrony, is the strongest part of the whole hypothesis. It is the part I would defend hardest, because the empirical evidence underneath it is real and it is measured.
Generative model, ritual, law, myth, priest, prophet, a genuine working machinery for living under uncertainty. Next time, 3 words this machinery has always carried, and that people fight over endlessly: faith, gods, and prophets.